What would you do if you realized that your neighbors had been secretly paying your landlord to keep your rent high just so you would never be able to afford to move out of their perfect social circle? I have lived a very simple and quiet life in a small apartment complex for nearly 7 years. I work as a freelance editor, and while I do not make a fortune, I have always been proud of my independence. My neighbors, a group of 3 older couples, have always treated me like their own daughter. They invite me to every barbecue, bring me soup when I am sick, and constantly tell me how much the neighborhood needs a young person like me. I always felt so lucky to have such a supportive community, even though I have struggled to save money because my landlord increases my rent by the maximum legal amount every single year without fail. I have often talked to my neighbors about my dreams of buying a small cottage in the countryside where I could have a garden and a quiet workspace. They would always listen with sad smiles and tell me that the outside world was dangerous and expensive and that I was much safer staying right here with them. I believed they were just being protective. However, everything changed yesterday when the property manager accidentally sent a group email to the entire building instead of a private message. It was an invoice addressed to my neighbors for a community retention subsidy. When I opened the attachment, I felt a wave of cold shock. For the last 4 years, my neighbors had been pooling their money to pay my landlord an extra $500 a month on top of my actual rent. The catch was that the landlord had to keep raising my personal rent price so that I would never have enough savings to pay a deposit on a new house. They were literally subsidizing the inflation of my living costs to trap me in their neighborhood. In the email thread, one of the neighbors wrote, "She is the only person who actually helps us with our groceries and listens to our stories. We cannot let her leave just because she wants a garden." I realized that my entire support system was actually a cage built out of fake kindness. They did not care about my dreams. They only cared about having a convenient young person around to act as a free social worker and companion for their old age. I did not have a loud confrontation. I did not scream at them during their morning coffee walk. I simply spent the night researching tenant laws and found a beautiful, affordable studio in a city 3 hours away. I signed the lease online that very night. The next morning, I hired a moving truck and began loading my boxes. When the neighbors saw the truck, they came running out looking panicked. I simply showed them a printout of the retention subsidy email. They did not even try to apologize. They actually tried to justify it. They told me that I was selfish for wanting to leave them when they were getting older, and that they had invested in me because they loved me. They claimed that paying my landlord was an act of charity to ensure the building stayed stable, and that I should be grateful they wanted me around so badly. I moved out that afternoon and blocked all of their numbers. I am now living in my new studio, and for the first time in years, I actually have money left over at the end of the month. However, the neighbors have been sending letters to my new address, which they somehow found, claiming that I have abandoned my elders. They are telling everyone in the old neighborhood that I am a heartless opportunist who took their kindness for years and then ran away the moment I saw a chance to be posh in the city. They say I'm the asshole for breaking their hearts and for being ungrateful for the community they worked so hard to maintain. So, I have to ask, am I the asshole for moving away and cutting off my neighbors after finding out they were paying to keep my rent high so I couldn't leave? Or was their love just a way to keep me as a hostage? Let me know in the comments if I am the hero or the villain, and hit that subscribe button for more daily stories.